making you turn into a total idiot. Chasing that fucking.
Hey guys, it's December 13th, and
Skittles in a fucking mood today.
you're all watching Stopgap. It should be
Woo,
live.
we're sorry.
Oh man, you got that was I heard where that conversation was going, and I went, yeah, I got to start right now. This is exactly when I start.
Yeah,
Just
no,
started. 40 minutes ago.
that's how we start the show from now on. Just wait until when we're in the pre-show chat and wait till somebody starts saying something good and you just cut right in.
What's up, Pookie 420? You seem new. You seem
what?
new. You seem way too cheerful to have ever watched this show in its entirety before. Fair warning, it's rough. It's real rough.
Remember
But
to
how was everybody's week?
Yeah, it's been alright.
Yeah.
I was in training for pretty much the entire week, so
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's always a good time. Was it the training where it's like it gets done at noon and they cut you out, or was it
no. It was the
8 to 5 training because they give you an
yeah.
hour
It was
lunch?
it was 8 to 5, and you ain't getting out at 5. You're getting out later. Training,
I
but
hate that shit.
yeah. But I mean, it was a good course. I'm glad that I took it. So
Yeah. Oh man.
I've just been battling my usual seasonal affective disorder, like want to dig myself into a hole until March thing. That's been fun.
Dude, I sleep
Yeah.
just so much.
Not as much as my mom. She's 23 hours a day for the last like 8 months.
Well,
It's the
that
weirdest
sounds
thing, dude.
like she's 450 pounds.
No, she's not though. It's the weirdest thing, dude. Like all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, she just starts
Should've gone
sleeping
either way.
every.
I bet my dad sleeps more than your dad.
Usually that dad.
It's got to be those fentanyl back patches, man.
And front patches and side patches and. In between patches.
sleeps more than your dad, and he can pee further.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
that's not even a question.
he said you can pee for it.
That's not even a
Well,
question. See, because he doesn't have
something
to.
like
He
that,
doesn't
he
have
just
to
says
apply all that power to get the pee out of his dick because it's so short. So all that power is just put on the back end, and it goes.
Yeah.
Got a nice arc, just a nice
Yeah.
arc to it.
It's like
Yeah.
when a BB
Yeah,
gun range.
naturally, because the nuts are so small and shriveled, they sit up tight and hold it in a nice arc.
Dude, he can piss over his nuts. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I know.
I piss all over
What
mine.
can I say? My dad's a man's man.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Mine are just a disaster.
Oh, so
I was gonna say, yeah, I've been also following the news, which I don't think is helping because I'm pretty sure that we're through the looking glass entirely and nothing has any meaning anymore.
dude, the news is helping so much. Michael Cohen just got 3 years. Maria Butina pled guilty. Come
Dude,
on,
she's
man.
gonna get a fucking polonium milkshake.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
no doubt. No doubt.
Yeah, they were like, she's going to be sentenced, and it could be from anywhere from 0 to 6 months, and then deportation proceedings will start. And I was like, how long? Let's start taking wagers on how long she survives after deportation.
Oh, did you guys see that that clip of the UN security executive that when she was offered tea by the Kremlin? Like, no one's drinking tea, and this dude just, like, slides a tea to her, and she just fucking pushes it back.
Nope.
I was like, God damn.
See, usually I avoid news, but since I knew I was coming on this week, man, I was paying attention as much as I could, and
When
I
brushed up.
don't like the outside world.
No.
I don't
That
either.
sucks.
I gave up on it.
That's been the highlight of the show this year.
Yeah. It turned
was
into the darkest timeline a long time ago.
Well, it's also the dankest timeline because everything's for the lulz. If you've noticed, it's like everything that happens is like the most ridiculous thing, and then also the worst thing. So
It's like
it's the darkest and the dankest at the same time.
the whole planet took on like a comics viewpoint. Like it's as long as it's funny, right? As long as it's funny.
Like I felt myself reaching for a handful of tacks myself this week. Like, really? This is what's going on?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Here we go, guys. I'm gonna share this with you, and then I'm gonna share with the fucking... Then I'm gonna share with the class this GIF that I found.
Yeah, I just feel like I've been huffing glue or something after reading the news. Like, what is even happening anymore?
more. Just move this.
Gone down a dark path.
Go to my.
Yeah.
And then I huffed some glue to take the edge off. So yeah.
Dude, this year sucks, man.
There you go.
I used to be very positive.
Luckily, this year is almost over.
Oh man, why is the display capture above zoom? Look at that. Oh no. Oh, get no.
Get that out of here.
Yeah, why don't you just go ahead and take that tea back? Yeah.
So sketchy. Like, yo, Kremlin, why you so sketch?
Like they're offering tea to one person in the room, and everybody's eyes are just like locked on her. Like, is she gonna drink it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at. No. Okay.
Especially
Here.
the close
Let me
guy.
give you the link. The dude sitting in the middle. Look at him. Look at his buddy and be like, oh.
She's gonna do it.
Here we go. Yeah. Oh, that's my stream key. Don't mean to copy and paste that.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Here we go.
Oh, that would be awesome. Like Sin just co-ops the stream. She just takes it over. She's like, now for some real news.
Yeah, she co-ops the stream so she can't enjoy doing this either.
No, my favorite thing about this entire Russia thing, it's so like blackly comic at this point, exactly how out front and open they are with this evil horse shit. Like, they used to try to hide this shit, and instead it's just like, nope, we poison people. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I mean, they used to be, I mean, for a while there, they were kind of like pseudo-friendly. Like, oh, yeah, come hang out with us. You know, give us your tourist dollars. And now it's like, they don't even fuck around anymore. Like, go ahead, come to Moscow, see what happens to you.
Yeah.
Like, Putin's fucking giving a high five to MBS about killing journalists and shit. And this is like all happening out in the open. Like, it's obviously horrific, but also it's like darkly funny.
Dude, it's so nuts. Like,
darkest and the dankest.
Conservatives changed their view so much on Russia. Like, it's a complete 180. Like, my dad, if you asked him 8 years ago, this is a quote from him. He said, "Russia is the greatest enemy of the United States." Yeah, and he's like, because we think they're an ally, and they teach in school that the United States is an enemy.
Yeah.
Right. And then fucking 3 years ago, he's like, no, we should be their friends.
Right.
What's wrong with you?
The same people now that are saying that Russia hasn't done anything wrong and that Russia's our friends are the same people that were so anti-commie in the 80s that it's ridiculous.
Yeah, but there was a difference in the vibe between like Gorbachev.
No, this wasn't even in the 80s. This was in
I
2010.
know.
Like,
yeah, I understand. Like, it continued on. I'm just saying they're the same people. These are these exact same people.
You think the Russians of the 80s?
Nothing has really changed in Russia. Like, it may not be exactly a communist nation the way that it was, but when you have like the former guy that ran the KGB as the president's wife, like,
Putin's scary as fuck. That changed. He's like the scariest guy alive.
Right.
But,
Like,
I mean, he's always been, you know, fairly terrifying guy.
Yeah.
You know, like every once in a while you'll get that picture of him like he's out in some sea somewhere. It's probably like icebergs off that you can't see, but he's all ripped up like fucking.
Oh, dude, his photo ops are made like shirtless on a horse and like
he's just
like amazing. Like that's what Trump wants to be. Trump wants to be taken that seriously.
Yeah, he's gonna have to cut back on the McDonald's first.
See, the problem is that Trump, he likes to escalate, but he doesn't know how to escalate. He doesn't understand ABE, always be escalating. Putin puts out a picture of him shirtless on a horse. Trump needs to put out a picture of him balls deep in a grizzly.
Right.
I'm just getting it. Just rutting that grizzly.
Oh, man. See, if if Trump pulled something like that, I'd be like, all right, dude.
I'd go, all right, damn. I don't want him as president, but I ain't going to fuck with dude.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, he pulled a blade on a grizzly and somehow got his dick inside of it.
Instead he's getting apathetic dry hand jobs from a fucking Russian hooker.
Yeah.
Grizzly.
Like,
dude, I can imagine she fucking turns the ring inside out and just fucking goes to town on his dick.
Oh.
Like, it didn't have to be this way though. Like, that was the entire thing about like perestroika and Gorbachev and all that. Like, there was actually some sort of like freedom-based reforms or something happening in the 90s. And then
Boris Yeltsin.
And then the oligarchs and all
Then it all went corrupt, even more so than it was. Yep.
I mean, we had Gorbachev. He had like a fun design on his head.
He's still alive. Gorbachev's still alive, yeah.
Gorbachev's still alive, really?
Dude,
he's not that old either.
Have we seen a recent picture of Gorbachev?
Yeah. They're just pictures of him over the summer. He's only like 65 or something like that. He's not that old. Like he was young when all that was going on.
26 when he
was 26 and he looked like that. Like fuck me.
Yeah. When he tore the Berlin Wall down, he was 18.
Like I thought I was living a hard life. Jesus, man.
He was like Wilford Brimley. He was just born old.
He's selling diabetes testing supplies right now.
Dude, Wilford Brimley's still alive and he looks exactly the same as he did in Cocoon. Like he was born looking like that.
He's been taking care of himself. Dude. He's been testing his diabetes for like 40 years.
Like like Wilford Brimley looked like that in The Thing. He looked like that in Cocoon, and he still looks like that.
He's 22
okay, no,
in Cocoon.
I take that back. I was completely wrong on that. I don't know where that was erroneous information, and I fully refute that. So,
no.
Whoa, Graham, you see what he's doing right now?
Who?
You see what he's doing right now? He's saying, nope, no. I was wrong. That's terrible information.
Yeah, we don't do that though.
That is completely erroneous information, and nobody should ever quote that I just said. He's 87 years old now. Sorry.
87?
Yeah, I don't know where I got that from. For some reason, I thought he was like a lot younger than that. So I do apologize.
Yeah, he's also living in Canada with the Confederacy.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Like so that's how he's preserving himself. He went to the Great White North. Got it.
Yeah.
But he is still alive, and there were pictures of him like walking around and stuff over the summer. He looks like he's in good health. So.
Oh, okay. I figure he got offed after the coup or something like that, and we just never heard about the shit.
Exactly, because he just disappeared from public life entirely.
Yeah.
Probably why he's still alive.
I remember being a kid like, what's going on?
Yep. I was at my grandparents' house when the coup took place, and the collapse, and everybody was just like, because we live right outside of DC, so it's like, are the ICBMs coming in? Because we are not going to survive this.
They took him out in a coup.
Nobody knew what was going on.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, essentially.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then it was Boris Yeltsin right after him, right?
Yeah, he was the first elected. He was the first elected president. Well, see, Gorbachev stepped down. Like that's what instigated it, because the generals wanted to take power, and Gorbachev essentially oversaw like the disassembly of the current government.
Then they had a mini civil war for a bit.
Yeah, it was disassembling on its own pretty rapidly, right?
Yeah, but the generals wanted to take power.
Hey, how quickly does your respect for someone drop when they post a Fortnite clip?
Pretty fast. Yeah.
I know nothing about Russia, like its history. What I know about Russia, I learned from a
Red Dawn.
Nope, I learned from a Netflix show with Daniel Radcliffe. I can't remember the name of
Wolverines.
it.
Oh.
Yeah, Wolverines.
Hey, Steph, what was that show that Daniel Radcliffe where he was like the doctor in Russia with John Hamm?
Red Dawn.
That was a really good show where he was like with John Hamm,
good.
like the doctors and everything. Yeah, that was really good. There's supposed to be another season.
A Young Doctor's Notebook.
That's the Young Doctor's Notebook.
Dude, it was so good. It's really funny, but it's also so dark.
Sounds dark.
That's the Russian spirit that I've learned from like trying to read some like traditional classic Russian literature. Is like it's all like super sad and darkly funny all the time because it's a shitty place to live and always has been.
Dude, that last episode when he's walking away with the fucking screeching.
Yeah.
God damn, that hit me hard.
Well, how many revolutions have there been in the last 100 years?
Like full turns?
Dude,
what? Let's see, the White Revolution, the Bolshevik Revolution, then like Stalin's purges, and then 88.
Yeah, there's been at least 5 or 6.
Yeah,
and that's like grouping together basically all of 1970s.
Well, do you know that there were American Marines in Russia during the Bolshevik Revolution? Yeah. Like nobody ever talked about that. Yeah, like we were trying to keep the Tsar in power.
Yeah, because no one wanted the Tsarship to lose. Same thing with French Revolution. Same thing with the American Revolution.
I mean, like an inbred family is probably easier to deal with than what was coming up. So I mean, you can hardly
Well,
blame.
it's that whole the devil situation.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that too. I mean, it was a period over a couple hundred years, but for a long time, really until then, a lot of countries were still monarchies, and some in name only. But like that's why they'd also fight the French Revolution. That's why Napoleon was a huge thing. Was we can't let Napoleon seize a republic because we all have monarchies. You have to be a monarchy. I mean, at that time, Germany was still a monarchy.
There's still a surprising number of constitutional monarchies nowadays. Like there's still a lot of European royals rolling around that people forget about. There's still there's a king and queen of the Netherlands, you know what I mean? Finland, Sweden.
Oh yeah.
And they're all the same.
They pop up every once in a while. Like, oh hey,
yeah,
you got married. Congratulations,
Queen Beatrix. How's it going?
Yeah, they're all related.
Yeah. The Habsburgs and the Tudors.
See, all these words ring a bell, but I can't tell you what they mean.
World history, man.
Fuck the world. This is America. My world goes from Maine to California.
Hey, kitty.
Damn right, cat.
Was Germany still part of the Ottoman Empire then?
No.
When?
That was World War I, so they were still.
That was World War I. So were they still kicking around?
No.
Well, there wasn't a Germany.
Yeah. Okay.
Like it was all independent. They were all the independent republics and stuff until just prior to World War One.
Yeah, but World War I was all William Kaiser III.
Yeah, exactly. Like uniting all of the different German Austria and everything.
Yeah, that was
Bavaria, everything into one.
What's his name? Franz something. Of course,
Archduke Ferdinand.
No, that was who died. They were again related.
Are you talking about Kaiser Wilhelm?
Yeah. Wilhelm, he united Germany in I think 1878 or 1880-ish, and he was the Duke of Prussia.
Yeah,
and he was the one who united Germany proper.
Okay, so they had like a solid 30 years before shit started getting like
until Wilhelm came to power and decided to go to war with his brother, basically. Yeah, because seriously, at that time, all of them were fucking related.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I still find it fascinating that even to this day, like we go to war for like something that happened to like somebody else's family. Like it still just blows my fucking mind. Like the whole Iraq war is like, they tried to kill my dad. Like that was like one of the big talking points for old W. Like really, dude.
That's conflict's going to go on forever because all
crazy.
That fabricated evidence about weapons of mass destruction. Like, forget that about the Bush presidency.
But I think even regardless, if we hadn't gone in at that point, like it would still be, Iraq would have still been a mess regardless if we had gone in then or not. Now
at that point,
can we say that it's worse because we went in then? I don't know. Because I don't know what would have happened. Because exactly. Because then what would have happened with but then would you have the rise of ISIS because that's how they were able to come up with because of that. But then what would have happened with like the war in Syria? Like what would have Saddam's reaction to that?
This country was a fever fucking
over
bitch,
Syria.
I mean, that's like nobody wants to play the game of like think of all the good things that Saddam did, but
he was as much as I hate to say it, he was a stabilizing influence in the region because nobody wanted to fuck around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean the Baathists kept shit in check.
Yeah, even though it was through murder and extortion and coercion and secret police and fear and like that whole thing, but that
was the country at that point was like just like. We hadn't seen enough after 9/11. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, I'm not saying me, I'm just saying, like, it seemed like the country just was thirsty for something more. And it seems like they just picked that random ass country.
Well, the issue is because we weren't able to
win decisively.
That's the thing, because we weren't able to actually produce anything from our adventure in Afghanistan at that point.
Right. It's all in the hills that it was like
because it needed to be another like Gulf Storm, like Desert Storm 1.
We needed a boogeyman.
Where there was like an actual like goal line, something that you could achieve and be able to show, and then everybody be cool with it leaving. But you weren't able to do that in Afghanistan. So that's why it felt like
to be fair, we haven't been able to do that in Iraq either, because the second we leave, like shit's just gonna fucking implode.
Yeah.
So
We also can't invade.
I mean, because I was in the army back in you know, '01. So you know, I remember what everybody was like, and everybody was like, "Fuck it, dude, let's go kill everybody."
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Like September 12th, 2001, pretty much everybody was like on their way.
Yeah, like it was like, well, I mean, it was there was a I think there was a couple months before everything really kicked off over in
It was
Afghanistan.
October 4th,
Yeah, and then it was another I want to say
March
it was
13, 2013 or 2003.
2003. Yeah, because I was over there for that. So
Yeah, I mean the next day, obviously there were like operators. You know, there was Delta and
yeah,
Recon.
well, I mean they were already there. So
Yeah, but I mean, so like all that stuff got stepped up. But yeah, it was like a good month or so before we started getting like regular troops started getting deployed.
Oh,
Yeah,
and somehow Saudi Arabia, you know, they just kind of ignored that entire part of the equation.
Would that have been okay with you?
that's because they let us stage there sometimes. So
I mean, we still officially ignore everything that Saudi Arabia does because of the ties that we have with the House of Saud.
What if they?
Speaking of which, he's the Time Magazine of the Person of the Year.
I mean, we ignore a lot of the bizarre shit that goes on in Turkey too, because they let us do stuff there sometimes.
We
So
also attack private
Turkey is the
citizens on
one.
U.S. soil.
Turkey is the one that depresses me the most out of that entire region because of the way the country was founded, like what the ideals and intentions of the country were, and what it was for a long time up until the
Dictatorship.
90s. Yeah, and what it's turned into under Erdogan.
Dude, it was such a like it was a system that just worked, like a secular military religious government.
Yeah, if Ataturk could see his country today, like he would be disgusted by it. That wasn't his intent. Was nowhere near what his intention was for
I was winning for the kingdom then.
Do you think that if Bush would have said, "We just need to get there, fuck something up," you know what I mean? Like instead of lying and saying like exactly what we were doing, like we needed to fuck something up that looks like these guys, and we need a boogie guy, and we got to get him, because they needed Saddam Hussein's face to give people the satisfaction of catching something, right? What do you say? At that time,
Yeah, but like
No, he was influenced by people that were bought out.
right? But what I'm saying is like we couldn't catch Osama bin Laden. They probably had no clue where Osama bin Laden was, and probably didn't think they were going to get him for a very long time. So they focused on Saddam Hussein, who wasn't doing anything at the time, really.
Well,
But
he was
we had-
he was massacring Kurds.
yeah, I was gonna say he was killing
Right.
he was killing shit tons of Kurds.
He was
Right.
committing genocide,
But he was part of
100%.
9/11, is what I'm saying. Like he wasn't
Oh,
directly.
9/11? No, I mean 9/11. Like he was the last thing on anybody's mind. He was just an easy target because we did. Quite frankly, I mean, we just rolled over that country, and like it I don't know that it's ever going to recover from what happened in those first couple fucking months.
It's way worse than what everyone realizes.
Yeah, because I mean, we would follow, you know, I was medical, so we were following everything up behind, and we're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And they're like, what happened here? And they're like, well, the Marines rolled through, and then once they got through, and they said the town was secure, the Army came through, and the Army started getting busted up by people that were, you know, firing RPGs out of windows and shit. So the Marines turned their shit back around and came and just wiped the whole fucking city out. So I mean, you're just rolling through like piles of rubble. Like it was fucking crazy.
Yep.
It was crazy what was going on those first couple months.
Yeah.
It was unchecked.
I
mean, there was some check. I mean, I mean, there was some modicum of control about what was going on, but like if some shit went down, like an entire company got busted up by somebody, like there was going to be no recovery for what was about to happen to that city.
Yeah,
so,
it hasn't been.
Yeah, and yeah, no, I mean, there's still places that used to be places, and now there's nothing there.
I guess what I'm asking is like, did we just use that country to satisfy something that we needed at the time? That
bloodlust.
Yeah.
I mean,
we got Saddam Hussein and executed him. People were happy about it. I mean, they legitimately were happy about it.
I mean,
the
he was
people
a
were
terrible
fairly
dictator.
happy about it when we executed him. So
What I'm saying is that it seems like we used him because we couldn't get bin Laden. We needed something.
He was totally a scapegoat. That entire country was a scapegoat for the anger that the entire country was feeling.
And now what?
But it wasn't.
Now everything's calmed down. And everybody's like, what are we doing?
But it's not.
It's still over there though.
But Iraq wasn't a place where like it was only brought down because we needed a scapegoat. Iraq was a long time coming, and
Yeah.
Bush's father had tried to bring down the Hussein regime.
And they try to kill him. Yeah.
And so,
No.
or no, wait, was it Hussein?
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
Hussein.
Yeah, it was Saddam being then.
I mean, that's the big what if, is if he had actually gone all the way to Baghdad and, you know, and instituted regime change
Instead
at
of
that
Poland.
point
He could easily have done it with what
Right.
was there.
in the early 90s.
Dude, Operation
With the-
Linebacker destroyed that country.
Yeah. Well,
You're
Yeah,
talking
like
about
they're-
a country whose main battle tank was the Russian T-62.
Yeah,
we
I mean,
stomped
the
on that.
the
They had
truth
no-
of the,
Go ahead. Sorry.
like the truth about Iraq is that like when we went in OIF-1 back in 03, like we were anywhere that we wanted to be within like 3 days. Like there was like they had all this shit going on because people were running, like the Iraqi troops were just running scared, and so it was just like a running fight. But the U.S. troops got to anywhere they pleased within like 3 days.
Yeah.
Like that whole thing should have been over in a week, and you know they just kept prolonging it, and they'd stall people and they'd put them in
Well-
different places and move people around, and it was just for news bites and stories to keep people interested.
Yeah.
But I mean, the God's honest truth about everything is like it was over in about 3 days, except for like some fuckers
Well,
running around with scuds in the desert.
It's hard. That's very reductive to look at. Like, yeah, we decimated them. We decimated them in 3 days. But the problem with terrorism and insurgency is that it's not like, well, not terrorism. It wasn't so much terrorism, but it was insurgency when we fought them. It wasn't like a ground war. It wasn't an air war. It was insurgency. So we actually had to go and sweep and clear the cities for them. And then we had to make sure that they weren't able to just come back to that city when we left. So it was
In theory.
training an entire police force, training an entire military.
But then how
Takes
many?
more
that's what took
and
a
then-
long time.
But
Yeah.
then how many more new insurgents do you create when you
A
have
lot.
that sort of operation?
A lot.
ISIS.
It's an unwinnable battle, but I feel like the U.S. I don't like. It wasn't a good idea to invade Iraq, but we did the best we could. Like it was gonna be shit no matter what happened. We tried our best, and it turned out the same as if we had tried our worst. You know, if we had just fucking decimated them and left.
Right. Right.
Yeah, but we're going to be dealing with repercussions from this for a long time. The
Long time. I mean that
world is going to be.
that entire region of the world is just it's such a fucking cesspool of just
Blood money.
Well,
Yeah, not
and
blood-
the
not
it's
even
just
blood money.
because exactly there's so much money that comes out of that part of the world.
Yeah.
With
It's money,
the
but it's also blood feuds. Every single country
And
and people there is like, you killed my dad, I'm gonna kill you, and it's been going on for 100 years.
yeah, and
Yeah,
the
but
thing
been
is,
going on for longer
the
than
thing
100 years.
the thing with Iraq
Right, it
is
is.
that we tried to apply lessons that we had learned through other engagements,
Yeah.
but like other regimes that we had brought down, and we left a power vacuum without filling
Yeah,
it or
Al-Qaeda.
training the people.
Al-Qaeda.
That's- Yeah, well, Al Qaeda we directly supported,
Right.
but like.
We
the-
supported
when-
Mujahideen.
Yeah, when we
Well,
when we
the
when we
Taliban.
deposed the Shah, when we deposed the Venezuelan president, like yeah, the Taliban, when we deposed the Afghan government, every time we didn't really set anything in place for that, and
Right.
the power vacuum destroyed everything.
Well,
I-
is that a critique of nation building the wrong way, or a critique of just the concept of nation building? You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
Yeah.
theoretically, it all should have paid for itself, but it never fucking has, and I don't know that it ever will. So
Because
Has there ever been a good example of nation building though? Concrete?
Germany?
Yeah, see, like that's the entire thing. Like you can say, hey, we did it like
the
we did
Dominican
it wrong
Republic.
these other times and stuff, but like in general, the idea that one country, because of business interests, should go into another country and fuck it all up
Look at
is
Germany.
really cool.
The Dominican Republic.
Yeah, right.
I'm just trying to think of anybody that's
Yeah.
like anybody that's done this throughout time. Like the British.
well, I mean, South
Chinese.
Korea, we kind of did it too.
That was
after-
more of a military thing, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was more of a military thing, but there's a lot of U.S. influence over in South Korea. and it took them until like the very recent past that, you know, the country really is standing on its own, because it's been largely dependent on the US and the US allies for a really long time. Now I don't know that, you know, if we pulled out, North Korea decided that they wanted to come down, I'm not sure that North Korea would get very far, for one, because they're still just a bunch of like backwoods dudes running around with AK-47s that they got off of somebody else, and you know, 9 times out of 10, well, I can't talk bad about an AK-47. AK-47 is going to fire like 99% of the time, but you know, they're really backwards. Yeah. They're really backwards. Well, I mean, they're propped up as a threat. It's another country propped up as a threat that really is not.
They'd wipe it out before they made it past parallel.
I mean, the North Korea would entirely collapse without Chinese support.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Chinese barely support them anymore. Like they're like Kim Jong-un's they've just been like, all right, dude, whatever.
That's what I'm saying. Like if they remove this last little bit of support that they have, like that country would fail. Like they can't feed they can't feed their own people, you know. Yeah.
And then it would be South Korea and the U.S. and China coming from the other direction and meeting in the middle, and
if
South Korea, trying to figure some shit out for that place.
If South Korea was able to get trading partners, they would be able to feed their people, though. Like North Korea is extremely rich in rare earth metals,
natural resources,
which is like the most important thing in today's society, because it's used in all technology.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot more important than oil moving forward. Like the entire thing about propping up Saudi like dictatorships and stuff in that area of the world isn't even nearly as important with oil production anymore. So like the rare earth minerals are going to be where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Speaking of Saudi, we talked shit about Turkey, but can I commend them on their handling of this?
Just played that shit,
dude.
Man.
They're playing it so well, because no one's forgetting about it, because every week something new comes out.
Got a new little piece to drop out in front of everybody.
Like they might be some fucked up backwards ass dictatorship that stages coups in order to imprison all of their intellectuals, but.
And then
was that just last year? Was that 2017 or 2016?
I think that was 16. I'm pretty sure that was 16.
So much happens nowadays.
That was like right before Trump came into office.
Okay.
Yeah, 2016, July 2016.
He invited Erdogan, and I'm still pissed off because he just let Erdogan's bodyguards just beat up American citizens.
Yeah, but Turkey is definitely they have a very good media consultant. Whoever is controlling this is doing a very good job with the way that they're dropping the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's nothing like. It's funny because Turkey leaking out information about, like, I'm not trying to like say that one dead journalist isn't a big deal, but Turkey leaking out information about one journalist has gotten more fucking fire in the media than the shit they're pulling in Yemen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's because Jamal Khashoggi wasn't a Yemeni person.
Nobody cares. I mean, I hate to say it like this, but nobody cares about Yemen. Like what?
Well, I mean, what's in Yemen? Like a bunch of 11-year-olds smoking. I think that's the last thing I saw come out of Yemen.
Yeah. You know what I mean? They don't have oil. They don't have any. Like they don't have anything going on. So unfortunately, they're not. Not to get into like Israel Palestine or whatever, but they're not quote unquote oppressed as much as the Palestinians, to where it's a photogenic thing to where you want to get that attention put onto it the way that Palestine is able to. So we just don't pay attention. We just don't care. We just let them bomb and rocket and do whatever they want to Yemen.
That's why I wasn't surprised Iraq got fucked up. Because you are right, it's been blood feuds for thousands of years, but especially after linking it back to World War One.
That's what it's going to
destroy the Ottoman Empire.
Well, that's the whole everything in the Middle East goes back to World War One.
Goes back to the Sykes-Picot.
Yeah. So when a bunch of European powers went in there
Like,
and
hey,
got
we're
a
in
map, and we're
Arabia.
like, hey, this is a country and this is a country, and with no idea of actually the peoples that live there and like the traditional power struggles and
That
everything.
also
It's
partially
like,
fucked up Saudi Arabia too, because we when I say us, I mean the Allies. The Allies originally promised lands to a specific family who was not nearly as religiously extremist or religiously bound or hardcore. Let's go with hardcore. Uh, but instead, we gave it to a different family and said, you can make Saudi Arabia. And then instead of the original plan that was promised to all of the people of the Arab region, that, hey, you'll be able to make your own places and you'll be able to do it by, your or your racial backgrounds, things like that. We're just like French Syria,
Yeah.
British Iraq.
Well, I was gonna
I
say
might
something
be
and I
done.
forgot it.
And then after World War II, we decided to make Israel.
Yeah, happens to me all the time, Skittles.
Yeah. Oh no. Like the problem with Yemen is that like the reason we hear about Palestinians and there's like people that like there's a loud voice calling for justice for the Palestinian people, and the reason it's not so with Yemen is that Yemen has no border allies that they can send refugees to get away from the fighting.
Well, I was just saying
whereas-
that the guy from Turkey deserves a fucking raise. That's all
Oh
I
yeah,
was
yeah,
saying.
yeah.
yeah.
But whereas Palestine, they had allies on their eastern borders that they could get to and then spread around the world. Like
On every border.
yeah, well, not they didn't have
That's
a
what's
western.
Lebanon.
They didn't really have a western border.
Fair. Okay. Well,
And
to an
plus,
extent, they were down for-
nobody in the region wanted Israel there either.
Yeah. No.
You know what I mean? So that's the other part. And I'm not going to get into whether Israel deserves to be there or not.
No, let's get into it,
but-
PewDiePie.
I do like personally I'm pro-Israel, but I'm pro-Israel pre-1967 borders. All the expansion into the West Bank, like all of that. No, the land that was there is like the land that was deeded, the land that was given in post World War II. Cool, everything expansion past that, nah.
Yeah. Now, if there's a World War III, do you think there will be a Kurdish state?
There can't be a World War III at this point, man.
I mean,
Don't hedge your bets, buddy.
there already is a Kurdish state to an extent.
Well, okay, so just so you guys are aware, on I think it's Military Times, they reported that Turkey is gearing up to
Roll through Kurdistan.
roll through Kurdistan and invade northern Syria in order to get rid of the Kurdish threat to Turkey.
Well, no, I just say that, like, I'm not saying there can't be any, like, global conflicts or anything, but, like, the idea that a World War III would exist. So World War III, by definition, has to involve some major powers. And anybody with nuclear weapons, you essentially can't just roll over and take over the country. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's not going to work the same way anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
I agree with that point. Like,
because I mean, if
plus, I mean, everything right now is everything in this day and age is just weighed by cost, and like the cost of one major power going against another major power, like it doesn't add up anymore.
Oh yes.
Right. But I mean, if something were to happen, say something were to happen to where Israel used some of their nuclear weapons, that would, like, I can just see the cascade from there.
That'd be terrifying.
You know what I mean? Because
I mean, that whole region would be just hellfire.
you know what I mean? Because like Russia's gonna, like, if anything happens in Syria, Russia's gonna get involved. Russia gets involved in the Middle East. Where's China fit in on this? Like, China's just not going to watch everything go down all over the place. And I mean, was that the excuse for India and Pakistan to finally have a limited exchange? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, scary. At least, like, I grew up in the Cold War, and like we had, it was definitely like I I had a year or two where I was like terrified of atomic bombs or whatever. But like at least then it was kind of like Russia and the U.S. and
But-
you didn't really worry about the rest of it. But nowadays it's like,
Oh, I was gonna say then the crippling depression sunk in and you welcomed nuclear arms with open arms.
yeah, just the all-consuming fire,
Like, oh God, yes, just fucking end it, please.
the cleansing, all-consuming fire.
No, it's
But now it's like there's so many different players on the stage that could weigh in with things. I mean, there's still only a few superpowers, but there's a whole lot of countries that could have a giant effect on the rest of the world with their actions.
yeah. I mean, it's not so much going to be, hey, when's the next World War? It's going to be, hey, when's the last World War?
Yeah. What was it, Albert Einstein? Was it Albert Einstein? I don't know what World War III will be fought with, but World War IV will be sticks and stones.
Yeah.
So
Nuclear deterrence, people.
it's funny too because I just finished watching Man in the High Castle, and there's like a whole big thing with that. With the
don't spoil, no spoils.
no, but there's a whole thing about about essentially nuclear deterrence between the German Greater Reich and the Pacific states. The Japanese, the Greater Asian Co-Prosperity Sphere, like within the show, and it just like seeing the parallels. It's interesting.
Basically, it's based off of a book, but the plot is Germany and Japan won World War II. America is split in half between the two. It all takes place in the U.S. Of Germany owns the east half of the U.S. Japan owns the west half.
Yeah.
Except for the very middle of like Colorado, Kansas, which is just the free for all.
The neutral zone between the two, like a buffer zone. It's a good show. Good show.
I'm glad I like it because I enjoyed the first two seasons a lot.
Third season's really good. You'll like it
later.
when you get down to it. That's what I've been doing. It's just like binging television shows all the time. Went through like all the Man in the High Castle. Watched like all 4 seasons of Bosch. Just like tearing through stuff. Bosch is solid. It's a good, solid, like modern take on like a hard-boiled detective. I like it. The wife's watching it right now.
I'll go back into politics. I just need a breather.
Yeah.
It's heavy. I mean, I'm really happy we're talking about like history behind it too, though, because that's what gets me hard on.
Well,
History
that's
matters
fucking
a lot.
that's
weird.
fucking weird.
Yeah.
Talking about white guys' achievements that gets you hard.
But it is
Because
it is
newsflash, that's what history is.
But it is important to understand how we got to where we are today, because a lot of people don't ever look at that. Like a lot of people don't have any understanding of why Iran is the way that it is today, right? Like they don't understand the role that we played in creating the modern Iran. You know what I mean?
Or that whole fucking region of Asia.
Or the fact that we essentially funded and supported the Taliban, because it was more important to fight a proxy war against the Russians than to actually worry about who was going into power in these places. And then also just the very idea that, I mean, we had to go in Afghanistan. We had to go after Al Qaeda, but just like the hubris, right? That we could roll into Afghanistan when every single army that's ever tried to go into Afghanistan has been defeated. You know what I mean?
I still picture Putin just sitting there laughing his ass off as we start saying who we're going after. Like he's like, "Oh, really? You're going in there?"
The British at the height of the British Empire, right? When the sun never set on the British Empire, got their ass kicked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like the Russians, like throwing everything they could into it, got their ass kicked. And then we're like, oh no, we're gonna do it different.
Yeah, we got a couple cities. We'll just kind of hang out here,
Okay. All right. We've been talking about history a lot. I enjoy it, but let's move on to a more fun topic.
At least I'm not rap nerding out on everybody.
Dude,
I'll go history
I'm
nerd
cool
out.
with that too, but we have, we cut that off at times as well.
Yeah.
Let's see. What do we go with? Okay, Matt, you weren't here last week. What the fuck are the Proud Boys?
That's a concrete question.
The Proud Boys are a semi-ironic. Like, it started out as sort of like an ironic thing about not masturbating and being extremely online all the time, and it kind of turned into a wannabe version of the brown shirts.
Okay, what are the brown shirts?
The brown shirts were the fascist thugs in Italy under Mussolini. It was basically a bunch of people who just ran around and started shit with no real agenda except supporting Mussolini.
Okay.
Yeah,
Does anybody else find it like extremely like it doesn't add up that like fascism came from Italy of all places? Because Italy is so like despots and cappuccino.
Yeah.
And, like,
What's weird is that they committed to anything.
Right, that's what I mean, and it's like that's the birth of fascism. Was
Considering
in Italy, of all places.
their record with allies, I didn't think they'd ever commit to anything, and then they didn't.
Yeah,
You know?
it's like the entire thing is just weird. Like, I have this theory that you have to be kind of a buffoon to get like this fascist stuff kind of in the mainstream, because like it's easy to laugh at the Proud Boys because they're beating each other up and naming breakfast cereals and all that, but like it's kind of a smokescreen for a really dangerous ideology. And I feel like Mussolini was the same way, and even like Hitler, if you want to say it, like people don't tend to take these things seriously until it's too late, you know?
Yeah. Until you wake up and you say, what happened?
Yeah, like the Proud Boys are sort of loosely affiliated with a group called Patriot Prayer up here in the Northwest, and they're legit like idiots. Like, they're easy to make fun of, but there was a story that came out in the Portland News that before one of the protests that happened down in Portland, they caught a bunch of Patriot Prayer and Proud Boy people with like a cache of weapons on the roof overlooking one of the protests, and then just didn't fucking tell anybody about it.
Yeah, I
For
remember that article.
months. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's all fun and games until like the non-masturbating serial namers end up like pulling something truly fucking horrific.
Whoa, hold on. Daytime Frank, we can talk shit about the show. You can't. You got to be part of the fucking show to talk shit about it. You get the fuck out if you don't like it.
Like the Northwest, for all of like the fucking hippie Starbucks culture, whatever, like as soon as you get off the I-5 corridor, there's a pretty like deeply rooted like Eastern Oregon, Idaho, and all that. Like there's been white supremacists out here for a long time, and they're kind of like fucking infiltrating back over I-5 into some of the more mainstream politics.
But you guys are getting a hockey team.
Yeah, so we got that going.
I'm getting a hockey team.
Yeah.
And if I move out there, I'll be rooting for them as long as they don't get fucking Ken Holland.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the Proud Boys, the other funny thing is like their nominal head for a while was Gavin McInnes, who helped to start Vice and then got kicked out. But like,
Went completely insane. Yeah.
Ironic.
I mean, he's a fucking troll at this point. Like, this is a dude who was sticking stuff up his ass on like an internet live stream, who somehow birthed like this neo-fascist movement.
He's the main hipster.
It's so fucking weird, and it just buggers belief, and like you don't take it seriously until something horrible happens. You know?
Yeah. But unfortunately, that's human nature. You know what I mean? It's until something like affects you, like you don't pay attention to it until it directly affects you.
Yeah, like you have a bunch of disaffected young men essentially getting together to fight against some nebulous force they think is like denying them their birthright. That's never gone poorly historically.
And
so.
to not
Because
masturbate.
they've never had sex.
But real talk, that was something like that went well once. And I think that was the Weatherman. Like, sure, they were domestic terrorists. but they were domestic terrorists for like a good reason. They weren't like domestic terrorists just to fuck shit up or like to give the government more control. They were domestic terrorists for like civil rights.
Do you mean the Minutemen or the Weathermen?
The Weathermen.
You could put the Panthers in there too, then.
Well, yeah. But they aren't disenfranchised white kids. Is the Black
Weather
Panther.
Underground?
The Weathermen were disenfranchised white kids that were like, hey, this Black Panther thing, they kind of got a good idea with the whole civil rights to black people.
Wasn't that the Weather Underground?
That was the Weathermen. They're also called the Weathermen.
Oh, okay. I'm getting all confused.
I just like as much as some of my aims and goals, I guess, line up more in like the fairly stark leftist sphere. The thing is, if you don't do things like there's a point for popular action. Like you can see like people rioting in the streets. I'm not going to say it's a good thing for whatever, but it tends to get shit done. But that means nothing unless you also have like an actual like
Goal.
Yeah, like an actual
France
goal.
right now.
Like what you really want to do is you want to have that kind of popular support that stays nonviolent, like knock on wood, that stays nonviolent. But you also want to actually have like a legislative agenda and the kind of greasy people who can get shit done and change systems.
Yeah, like that was the problem with the Wall Street.
Occupy Wall Street.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, no,
I'm just thinking the same thing.
That's how I see France right now. Like that's the thing with what's going on with France is someone started a movement for their own goal. 18 other groups started their movement for their own goals. And it's a lot like Occupy Wall Street, where it's just a lot.
I mean, but it's a lot more violent.
It is a lot more violent.
And
but
if world history, you're a fan of world history. If world history has taught us anything, violence gets shit done.
Well,
yeah, but what's it going to get done? Because they don't have a unified goal. That's the problem.
But there's a difference between violence and property damage. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'll be the first person to condone violence, but throwing a brick through a Starbucks window, like, doesn't really stack up to me, you know?
If anything, they should have thrown it. They should have thrown them through British Petrol's video, fucking window. God damn.
The thing is, like, the world is basically cooking at this point. And like there has to be some sort of like massive like popular protest front at this point to actually get people to like sort of unentrench a bunch of the people who have been ruining the world.
The world is cooking, and the lizard man cabal is just sprinkling seasonings on, adding a little bit of water to that boiling oil, just watching it bubble, watching it pop, and then they're gonna take over.
Also, side note,
isn't that right, Graham?
Sending bombs through the fucking mail.
Dude, seriously, was it CNN that got shut down again?
I don't fucking know, but like seriously, okay, this obviously I'm biased. My mother is a postal worker. Stop sending bombs through the fucking mail.
Hold up,
okay.
Where is it?
There was something going on over here on the west. There was something going on over here on the West Coast today, and I haven't heard shit.
Yeah,
someone sent bombs through the mail again today or something.
Oh, 6 days ago, CNN's New York office was evacuated due to a bomb threat. I don't know. I can't say. I don't see where else it is on the headlines.
Like
get a Google News notification at some point.
For all of the sound and fury of like street level protest action, I think that you're gonna see a pretty big effect from actually voting in like Ocasio-Cortez and some of like the more like DSA leaning Democratic people, and actually getting them injected into the system and hopefully primarying one party more towards that poll than just being angry on the streets. But I'm saying that being angry on the streets is an important part too.
Okay, Thursday, San Francisco, New York, Seattle, Miami, Washington, D.C., and other like locations nationwide, including the FBI, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives, also parts in Canada, were all sent fucking bombs today.
Yeah, there was like...
Can we stop that shit?
There's like an Oprah of mail bombs going out. Like everybody's getting a mail bomb.
Yeah.
No, there was some sort of a cyber attack over here on the West Coast too. Like everything got really, really slowed down and like
your computers were slow.
Also, yeah, and
well, I mean, shit was shut. Like they were shut. Like there was some shit shut down over here on the West Coast.
No, email threats included to Vancouver, Ottawa, and Toronto.
Yeah, so I don't. Like I said,
it impacts businesses to have internet be slow. Productivity goes down. It costs.
Yeah. Oh, wow!
It costs like businesses money. It costs you money. It costs everybody money. It's a huge tank to an economy if you can shut down the internet for a little bit.
There was Merv in Boston was shut down for like almost a year because of WannaCry.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, I mean, like shit was
cybersecurity
bad over here today.
Fucking stupid to me.
Like it wasn't just slow. Like shit was shutting down.
Like, yeah, no, I believe it. Well, no, I mean if you want to get into like the Cold War debate
It's
of
a
like with
huge fucking
Russia.
deal, dude.
Russia literally has the capabilities, and they've shown it, that they can literally take all of Ukraine's electrical system offline. If they can do that to Ukraine, there's chances they can at least take part of the U.S. and just say your internet's, or not your internet, your entire electrical system's just gone.
I heard they might even be able to fuck with our elections. I'm not sure.
That's why you gotta go move to
Yeah.
Texas. They're on their own.
Dude, Graham, that would never happen though. All right, they would never get away with fucking
He's
with our
fucking-
elections, my dude.
These hippies. I'm telling you.
No, I mean, sure, it's plausible, but it's not possible. So on that note, guys, have you ever sat down and thought about like shit, like actual shit, like poop?
I'm taking my tinfoil hat.
Not
Like,
often.
twice a day.
No, not while pooping, but actually
okay.
like thought about poop and the amount of poop in the world.
Okay.
Okay, right? Everything shits. Every living thing shits. How much
All
shit?
of our dirt is shit.
Is-
How
that a
much? How much shit
Like a
do you
children's
think
book?
you have eaten in your life? Do you think you have taken an entire poo worth of shits?
Do you think? Are you asking me
No,
if I've eaten an
do you
entire
think?
poo?
Yeah. Do you think you've eaten
Broken
enough
down
shit
or
in your
solid?
life?
Yeah, broken down or just like fecal matter happening to be in something.
maybe fecal flakes, fucking inhaling a fart, shit like that.
I'm betting
Have you-
body weight. I'm betting body weight.
You're betting you've eaten your body weight
He
in
Dutch
shit.
Evans himself. He
That's
likes
right.
the smell.
Okay,
That's
okay,
right.
but I'm like, cause I was sitting in the shower, right,
Okay.
and I was like, did I clean my butt? So I swiped and smelled, and I cleaned my butt so it didn't smell. And my wife was like, that's gross, and I'm like, you eat shit, and it started a tangent in my mind where I went, oh my god, we all eat shit. Shit is everywhere. Everything is shit.
Okay.
How
I'm still
like,
waiting
Why do you
for like a
smell-
concrete fact to come rolling out here.
everything
Like,
is shit.
exactly
That's
how
the
much
concrete
shit.
fact.
There isn't
Yeah,
concrete.
no,
Why do you smell the
it's a
tissue?
question. It's a question. I don't have any concrete facts. This is just a thread that I chased in the middle of a shower after after sniffing my
Seriously?
fingers after getting a little bit in there.
You, you smell
After
your own
going
ass?
knuckle deep.
I like to deep clean.
Get a bidet.
I do. I have a bidet, but there's always chances that
not use-
I could fart and there's a little bit of grease or something. You know.
So wait, is your wife like going and eating your asshole out or something like that?
No,
That's the
no,
only
no.
thing I could think
No.
of for why you'd be so concerned about the cleanliness of your tushy.
Because I
Funny
don't
idea,
like
Scott.
walking around with shit on my ass. Ugh.
Yeah,
but
I'm
you're
with
not
Colt
using
here.
the bidet. Why are you smelling it though? You can look.
To make sure that I'm not gonna look at the shit on my hand. And also sometimes
smell it.
you can't see that shit. Okay? Have you seen all the amount of shit that you've eaten? Have you directly seen it? No. What you got to do is you got to sniff it. You rub your fingers on whatever you're gonna eat. Oh, I think I have shit on my fingers.
Yeah.
But no.
This is
Give yourself
I make
feedback.
sure my ass is clean. See, Graham, he's not even
That's
he's
what
not in
every
he's not in the
man-
show anymore. He's not watching. But Graham, this is the kind of shit you need to clip for Twitter. This is a Twitter video. This gets us. Okay, Pookie, I wasn't gonna mention it, but after I smelled it, it was clean. I was in the water. I licked it, and that's when my wife went, "That's fucking gross." And I went, "You've eaten more shit than that in your life. I guarantee it."
I knew there was more to that story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's straight.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now we're starting to get to the bottom
Yeah,
of all of it.
I went, and she went, "That's gross," and I went.
I couldn't imagine you doing something just to gross your wife out. You don't seem like the type.
Absolutely not. But she was super fucked up about it, and I went, "You eat shit every day. I guarantee it. There's shit on everything you eat."
It's 2018. We eat ass now, including our own sometimes.
Like, okay, you're grossed out by me rubbing my fingers on my ass and licking it, but you go nuts when I lick your ass. Calm the fuck down. All right, sit down. Sit down. How much shit do you think you've eaten? Like actual shit.
I'm gonna go with
There's gotta be an internet fact about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with fresh. Probably probably the at least body weight. I mean, there's a lot of incidental shit contact. If it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger.
Yeah,
You got to keep
like-
that immune system up.
Also, think about it, right? We have like an industrial butchering industry in America, right?
Yeah.
How much shit do you think is on our meat?
Well,
A
I mean,
good
you gotta
amount.
think of what
Yeah.
happens to a body when it dies. Like, that's the first thing that happens, like
Yeah.
body evacuation. So there's shit everywhere.
Like,
There's shit everywhere.
and sure, they do their best to like keep the intestines away, but it's it's like an industry. We're addicted to meat. There's
Okay.
there's
They're
some
best. They're
contamination.
best to keep intestines away. You got to understand where your meat's coming from, man. They're not trying like anybody else's definition of their best.
Yes, but who hasn't bought fucking dollar store meat? Who hasn't
no,
been who
totally.
hasn't been down on their times bought some dollar store USDA grade C beef?
I have
Not
not.
the dollar store.
Dude,
not
okay,
concerned
hold on,
with it.
hold on.
All-
Pre-Matthew,
all-
you
all
were
you
sitting
get-
outside. You used to sit outside the liquor store and wait for it to open, and you never chowed down on some dollar store
No,
beef.
because I didn't eat. I didn't eat then.
Oh,
I just didn't eat. I drank my calories.
okay, touche.
That's $1 you're wasting, man.
Yeah, man, it would be like maybe a pack of ramen, maybe try to go to Popeyes,
Okay.
you know, and like get the red beans and rice, and then they end up sitting on the coffee table because I was busy drinking, and like, yeah, it's not going to work. Speaking of which,
By the way, 75% of poop is water.
12 years sober yesterday.
Congratulations.
Congrats,
Congratulations, my dude.
Congrats. Is that our thread to get out of the shit talk, or Alicia?
Oh, no,
how
you
much
can
poop?
keep going, but it just came up. That's all. I just had to.
Okay, Alicia, you
But, hey,
don't
recovery can't
have
happen.
solid poops, so this is super interesting. How much of your own poop do you think you've incidentally eaten?
I don't know. I use a bidet.
See,
My body runs at full efficiency.
see,
I just
okay.
missed it.
It's like
So you
liquid
know how they,
not-
you know how when you flush a toilet, it shoots fecal particles into the air.
So
Now
what, you
imagine
just put
you're
your mouth
blasting. Imagine you're blasting, fucking misting that shit off your ass instead of just flushing it and it's going down the drain, right? Have you ever used a power sprayer?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
and
not
you
the
you
same,
know
it's
you
a
know
different
your legs get
It's
fucked
not
up. You get
pressure
your legs
washing
get
like
fucked
that.
up with dirt after pressure washing. How much shit do you
I
think
want
you've
this bidet
eaten?
that's like a pressure washer. That feels enticing.
No, you
Like it
don't.
just-
I can't
It
feel
also-
anything under my belly button anymore.
Like,
It like blasts you like a half inch off the toilet. Like,
Yeah, it puts my ass into the wall.
You got fucking grab
It needs to
handles
be your
on the
mouth.
side. You got to hunker down.
Yo, no. All right, so my toilet's set up with 2 bars on the side and a fucking leather strap that comes around that I take around. I hook
got
into
the
the wall and
full
I
grandma.
fucking bite it real hard and then I fucking.
I
turn.
was worried this was going like auto asphyxiation or something there for
Oh,
a
you-
moment.
No,
like,
it's not a doorknob.
like the only way I can poop it. The only way I can poop is when my face is blue. Like I thought this is where we were headed.
I mean, sometimes he chokes himself too, but that's incidental.
Yeah,
Guys,
that's
I gotta say, this is probably the best content we've put out all year.
What are you drinking?
Just fucking medical stirrups,
Me?
just
Scotch.
all up in there.
This is Scott.
like the stirrups just come out like hoist
Yeah.
your legs up and you're just you got the leather strap around
No,
your
no,
neck.
that's while I'm shitting. That I have a straight up like surgical birthing seat while I'm shitting, so that like I sit down on that toilet and it reclines and my legs go up and it just flows. It's I could sneeze and blast a hole in the porcelain.
He's proud of that one.
Yeah.
Alright. Are we done with this thread? Are we done?
With the segment, yeah.
Okay.
We're done with the show.
Wait, Jerry, you didn't answer. How much shit do you think you've eaten?
I don't know, a couple beer cans.
A couple beer cans worth of shit.
Oh, you sweet summer child.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
fucking wash my hands, dude.
Shit.
You
I-
live in Michigan. Everything around you is shit. You've eaten way more than a couple beer cans.
Sure. I've never pondered this question.
Well, now you're gonna
Everyone-
fucking stay. Okay, you guys are gonna message me tomorrow and be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? I couldn't get any sleep last night." Because you're gonna wake up You're gonna stay awake, just ponder how much shit have I eaten. This shit. This is the
This all
shit.
sounds like a
Yo,
rationalization.
this
for
is
a
this is
fetish.
why I look like a cancer patient. I don't sleep. These thoughts enter my brain and they fucking sit there.
No, I'm gonna be fine. This is why I
You
drink
should
on this show.
See a therapist. Maybe they can give you something for that.
The Fog Vlog just Googled it. How much shit does a human eat?
You
How
see, I
much-
tried googling that. There's no answer other than it's 75% water.
How much?
Because Theo, give us a good estimate on how much shit a human has eaten.
I tried. There's no Google search responses of like every type of play on words of that I tried.
And it goes full circle. Who do we blame for not being able to find out how much shit we've eaten? The FDA. We're right back where this all should have been. Right, just point our finger right at the FDA. They're the reason.
I don't know if you did decomposed, like turn back into actual food, you'd be a lot more.
I mean, they've got like regulation on how much shit can be in things.
Mhm.
So, like you can have like three termites and half a nugget and like a can of Franks and beans or some shit. So
Yeah. Well, and then it's also, dude, our whole FDA is super fucked up with that.
Yeah, there's like a certain parts per million of rats and bugs and peanut butter and everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's that too, but it's also anything under 5 grams per fat.
You know,
Right? Anything under 3 is fat free. So you can have 3 grams of fat and it's fat free.
what about skin? How much skin do you think you can
Oh,
consume?
fuck Tom.
A lot.
Oh wait, that
And not your own.
concrete's body weight.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Still a lot.
Like I'm a little dude, so it's just mountains of skin.
Yeah, just a whole bunch of skin. I don't know. Like I
I
feel
just
like
wanted to
people.
give him something new to think about tonight. So
I
he's
feel
not
like
thinking about poop.
I feel like people are just like really picky about like food stuff, and all of that is literally just an illusion because
It's
like
calories, and as long as it tastes
Yo,
good,
Yeah.
we eat ass, but won't eat fucking GMO corn.
I do know.
That's
Oh,
that's
I have no issues with genetically modified
Well-
crops.
well, that's my generation. Calm down, Grandpa.
Better living through chemistry.
But no, like our generation, the 20-somethings right now are eating ass, but they're afraid of fucking corn that was designed.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, like, I don't want to generalize too much because it's going to piss somebody off, but if you have a big
Yeah, I
problem
guess-
with GMO crops, you're probably not all that informed, I
Yeah.
want to say.
Mhm.
Like I don't have a problem with it. I eat a ton of it, but I also try to buy organic just because that is mostly usually healthier, and that just has to do with how your body breaks it down.
I don't
like,
think
it was-
that's
Yeah, but
true.
organic
No, that's
is not
totally
ever
true.
necessarily truly organic. If the
Right.
organic
No,
farm
if
is
it's
next to a
USDA,
non-organic
it's-
farm, all the pesticides and shit blow over. It'll still be considered organic, even if it's.
No, if it's USDA approved, it can't do that.
But like, okay, I can see the argument for organic food, like, oh, we only use biocontrol for stuff, like in terms of all that. But in terms of like once the food actually gets in your body, I don't think the growing method has anything to do with the way the body processes.
No,
Oh man,
does.
and if you
It's
eat
how-
organic,
you ever
you
talked
eat
to a
so much
nutritionist?
shit.
No, like seriously, go like I've taken nutrition classes.
I'd have
I'm
more
preaching-
concern
I'm
about
preaching
the
everything for my
hormones
nutritionist.
that are put into cows than I would about the GMO food.
Yeah,
I'm not concerned about it, but
I have bigger issues
That's
with
how-
antibiotics.
yeah, it does, like your body does break down shit differently.
Why
Yeah.
is no
It's
one
a
talking about the
scientific
amount of
fact.
shit in food?
But my
But-
real
You wanna know
concern.
about how much
Food?
shit you eat? Oh, I know another source.
What is enriched food?
Fucking milk. Milk.
Enriched is terrible.
I went to a dairy farm and they were like, "Oh yeah, so
Milk processing is
all of the
disgusting.
flavored milk,
Yeah.
it's all of the lower end milk, the milk
Yup.
that has a bunch of fecal matter in it." and
Yup,
stuff.
because
So-
think about how much shit falls on them udders. They lay down in that shit, and it's
Yeah.
on those
Oh,
udders,
how
and they
about
just
a cow
come up.
with wasting disease? It's
Ugh.
literally shitting nonstop all over itself, and then it's surrounded by a bunch of other dairy cows, and that's transferring.
There you go.
over to
That's
cattle.
why I knew there was a reason I fucking hated milk. and it's because it's
I
full of
hate
shit.
that
It's
shit.
so
By the way,
there's
that's
so
also
much
a source for
feces
Crohn's
in it.
disease.
Ugh, yeah.
One of
'cause
the
it's
original
disgusting.
sources on how people got Crohn's disease was because of wasting disease from cows.
You're drinking a
Oh,
liquid from
shit.
a cow.
It's literally the
So
same exact
fucking gross.
bacteria and
We're the only country that does it.
just a different shape.
We're not the only country that drinks milk.
We're the only we're the only country who drinks milk to the point that we have it on our food pyramid. Yes, we are.
Yeah, but
That's because milk's
of the,
fucking gross.
no, that's because of the dairy
I like
farmers, and that's because of like that whole thing. But other countries drink milk, but we drink
But not in the,
we
not
drink
the
a lot of milk. But that's because we have like the dairy farms
And we
and
make shit out of it.
sell that product. Yeah, exactly.
It's so
Right,
gross.
but it's
Believe me,
also-
other countries eat tons of ice cream and custard.
but
Oh yeah.
milk's
Like
just
other countries use tons of dairy product. Like the French use tons of dairy products, but they don't drink milk the way that we drink milk.
right, but it's also not what we teach our kids.
It's only
They don't-
recent,
They
and
don't
it's
teach their kids that hey, you have to eat this as a healthy, balanced diet.
What a marketing
Right, but
campaign
it's
that
only-
milk got.
yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what that is. That's marketing. I mean, the whole food pyramid was strictly marketing. Like nobody should eat that much grain, the way that it's set up. But
I've lived my life entirely wrong.
yeah, I know. I'm saying,
It's like upside down.
yeah,
Or whatever
exactly.
the original ones.
Yeah. But it's only fairly recently in human development that human beings can even drink milk into adulthood. Like previously, everybody had the gene to where that enzyme would cut off, and everybody was lactose intolerant once they reached adulthood. Like you only drank milk as a child. It's only in the last couple hundred years that people have developed the. Somebody fact check that time frame, but it's fairly recently in human development that we're able to drink milk as long as we do now.
No,
Because
you're
I like I personally like milk, and I still drink milk.
That's because you're fucked up in the head.
You're fucking
Milk
child.
sucks.
My dad still drinks whole milk every day.
Oh.
That's how he
Dude.
starts his day.
Okay, I'll cook. I only cook with whole milk. I don't.
I only cook with half and half. Like fuck that shit. Half and half or richer.
Heavy,
All right.
I need dairy. I
heavy
use
cream,
good
son.
stuff.
Heavy cream.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
double fucking cream. Fuck
Yeah.
that
Well,
shit.
well, yeah,
use
no.
whole
If
milk
I'm
doesn't taste
coffee,
good to me.
That's it.
There's whole milk in the because I have a 2.5-year-old, so there's whole milk in the fridge for him, and then I have like 1% usually for myself.
Two or go home.
I'm getting old, man. I turned 30. I turned 39 last month. I gotta start taking care of myself a little bit.
Yeah, taper down from that 2
Yeah.
to the 1.
That 2%, man, gonna shorten my lifespan.
Let's drink water. That shit is fucking disgusting. Milk is so gross, dude. Ugh.
I like it, but see, I eat tons of cereal.
Yeah, it's good.
Like,
cereal.
Like I will sit down and eat a box of cereal at one time if somebody doesn't stop me.
I can't think about any kind of animal product while I'm eating it at all. Like I can't think what it is. I haven't eaten chicken or turkey in probably 20 years.
There was one time.
See, that's 'cause you're
way
weak.
back when I still smoked weed, which was a long time ago, because weed ended up just being a waste of money for the.
You're
money
weird.
I got off of it. I'm just saying, I would prefer to.
Not
like,
you, him, Skittles.
Like I would smoke somebody else's weed, but I wasn't wasting my money on weed when I could get some booze instead,
Yeah, for sure.
or some real drugs. But there was one day, super high, and we got Popeyes, and I took a bite out of a drumstick, and just like staring at it, and I could see like the different
Oh.
muscles, like the way that the chicken used those
Yeah.
muscles to like walk around with, and like I could envision it all, and it put me off the chicken for a good.
Yeah, well, that was the first thing that chicken did. That's the first thing that got me thinking about not eating meat. Like because you can see its form. You know what I mean? Like it's the only thing that like they'll serve you like it's already like whole almost. I mean fish and shit, but you know
Yeah.
like
But like looking at a drumstick, you're like, yeah, the chicken. Yep. I can see how the chicken used this to walk around with. Freaked me out for a little. I have zero compunctions with it nowadays. But it was just one of those like super high moments when you're just like, whoa.
Yeah.
I always get that when butchering anything or taking apart like Thanksgiving turkey or anything. You get like that weird moment where you're thinking, "Hey, I'm disarticulating this wing and pulling like." Yeah, it's like
Yeah. I'm dismembering this body of this thing that was walking around like yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even care like ethically or whatever. That's not what it's just so gross.
I think that's an important thing though. Like I do think like if you eat meat, then you should be willing to kill the animal that you're gonna eat. Like
chicken, you better reached into that chicken. Hold on.
I think if you're gonna eat chicken, you have to be willing to kill a chicken. If you're gonna eat beef, you have to be willing to kill a cow. And if you're not if you don't think that you're willing to do that, then maybe you should think about it again. I don't know. That's
I'm
just
not.
one of my things.
Like,
Mediterranean, dude. There's a reason why, like,
I've killed a
red
chicken
meat
to I've killed a chicken to eat before. I'm
You're so terrifying.
pretty sure I could captive bolt gun a cow if necessary.
Oh, God.
I've killed a hooker to eat before.
That's right. See,
Well,
You know,
see,
like
that's a necessary evil.
I'm like the
Skittles,
opposite. Of,
you don't need to pay pigs.
I'm like the opposite of Graham. Like, I have an ethical issue with it. I don't have an issue with like the mechanical part of it. Like, I might just be like a fucking psycho in training or whatever, but like I think that part's actually kind of interesting.
Well, what is your ethical concern with it? I guess because I can.
it's the farm raising, right? It's
I
the
was gonna say, I can see
factory farm.
Factory
I think
farming is kind of
it's
horseshit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, it is.
Another reason why I say no, go buy organic. Like
So-
it does cost more, but you're like, cool. This was at least respected as a living creature and butchered properly.
But
Yeah.
I'd rather actually like track down and source it, like not even like looking at the organic thing, just track down and know that like those animals weren't completely mistreated before they were eaten.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I'm just saying that is like that's what I would consider a lot of that. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, no, try to do that instead of like, here's a malformed chicken that was dead at 5 weeks that you're being sold.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty much down to shrimp because fuck shrimp.
Insects of the sea. Insects of the sea.
and I'm like mildly allergic too, which is fun. So if I need that protein, I gotta really want it because it gets weird the next day.
It's okay to eat fish because they don't have any feelings.
Well, I was gonna say no, fish don't, but do shellfish have?
Yeah, no, they don't. They don't have central nervous system.
Hey, all right.
Kurt Cobain.
Like I don't eat
Then why
like
do
I
they
eat
scream?
I eat squid, but not octopus.
Why do crabs scream when you throw
They're
them
not.
into the water?
no,
They're
that's
not.
just
It's
that's
the
just
sea
that's
coming out of the
yeah,
shell.
that's boiling out of their shell.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They don't
Like
scream.
fuck a crab. Like that's fine. Like I'll
They're
fuck up. a
It's
crab.
it's
That's
literally
fine.
literally
Oh,
a sea spider.
Yeah,
Crabs are
disgusting monsters.
fucking
Okay.
amazing.
They're delicious. I
They
love
are delicious monsters.
Yeah, they're delicious. They don't deserve to be on this fucking planet.
They're not.
Except,
They're the opposite.
except for in my tummy.
So Theo
Wait.
sent me an article
Wait,
about
wait.
about poop and food.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Did you just say they're not? When he said they're in the ocean,
I'm
you
just
like
fucking playing.
want
Come
them on
on,
the planet?
come on.
The
Do you think I
ocean's
really?
on this planet.
Do you think I don't know that? Go with the. Come on.
I wouldn't
Stop
be
with the illusion.
surprised.
What about this
He
article?
thinks the ocean's on the planet.
I know
Wait,
it's on
what
the planet.
article? Wait,
Like, come on.
where's the article?
Too highbrow.
Theo from the Fog Blog sent it to me. I can forward it along. But basically because of how food is processed now and how like hamburgers contain hundreds of different animals, omelets like the mix in for omelets in restaurants contains hundreds of eggs from hundreds of different chickens. There's a little bit of poop in everything.
Hey, there you go.
Now
Well, you can take it.
there's the standard that we know about saying, hey, there can only be this much, but there's poop in everything.
Oh, God.
Everything we
There's
eat,
shit
every
in
vegetable,
everything.
everything. There's poop
Yeah.
in everything.
That doesn't surprise me.
Graham, turn off the notifications
I
for
know.
that
Stop
Discord.
sending them.
Stop.
okay with
Why
that.
do you have the notifications
mute
on
it.
for
I
Discord?
don't.
You
I don't.
absolutely. We can
Bro,
hear them.
I can't
you
find
do.
my mouse. I'm having an issue. Shut your face.
God damn it!
Gotta
Fuck.
figure
You know
your
what? But
phone.
that's a big reason. Part of this, like this whole cleanliness thing, is a big reason why humans traditionally drank alcohol. So much. That's
It's
why,
'cause we eat
that's
shit.
why
Why
it
we
was all.
became a thing.
That's why it was all like it was
how math was
weak beer and weak wine. Watered beer and watered wine for like every meal all the time. For a long time because we didn't have this cleanliness stuff that we have nowadays.
And there's still, I think there, depending on what it is, there's still some minor health benefits. Very minor. Specifically red wine.
I went ahead and passed that along to Concrete. Concrete can
Women's Health Mag. I'm into it.
exactly.
Kind of open. There's some pictures in here.
If you want like the ultimate purist's diet, Mediterranean.
Yeah.
Mediterranean diet, like they've lived by
Yeah,
far
yeah.
the longest lifespan for basically all of recorded human history.
Okay, but like the thing about like all the diet talk is kind of hilarious because like there's also going to be a hard limit on how many people you can feed with a Mediterranean diet. All of these diets that are like super heavy and like not like carbs, but super heavy in like healthy proteins and fish and all this other stuff. Like the planet's pretty much hit the carrying capacity where everybody can't eat like that.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. Yeah, I just mean like a lot of
can't grow olives everywhere.
that. Like that's it's not even, yeah, it's olive oil, but it's not even so much that. It's no, like the basis of it is eat a fucking salad for lunch with every meal.
Yeah,
Eat a
fatty.
fruit. Like that's the mainstay of that diet is like, hey, actually eat a salad and a fruit every fucking day.
You guys want to know why? Because leaves make you poop. It's the shit cycle all over again.
We're right back where we should have been.
Hey, think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Hold on. Think about it. 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 Think about it.
Say it again.
Think about it. Leaves. In order to grow lettuce, they use shit.
Dark leafy green
Right?
flavor, yes.
They use shit to grow the lettuce. Right? That's why we can't eat romaine right now. Then
Is that still going on?
you eat the lettuce, and the lettuce makes you shit. So the shit makes you lettuce, and then the lettuce makes you shit. Dude,
Yeah,
it's the shit cycle.
It's the circle of life.
It's beautiful. This is nature.
Yeah.
Whew.
Profound.
I'm blowing my goddamn mind tonight, guys. I don't think I can handle many more shows like this.
All right, I'm getting off here in a couple minutes. I'm getting old, and
Yep.
11 o'clock is late.
Yeah, we're probably done at 11. Is my thoughts. That's my thoughts on the matter.
Oh,
Mainly because, honestly, that shit segment was all I prepared this week.
Yeah, that's all you had in the tank.
That's all
How's
I had.
how's
in the tank.
Alicia? How's Alicia's foot?
I got good news.
Yeah.
I went to the doctors yesterday and they told me that I no longer need these guys.
Congratulations.
Yeah, one step closer to
Now
Getting
you,
back on that electric skateboard.
now you got to stand on the bus
that's gonna
again.
be a bit. I have to be able to like I can't hop around yet, so I need to step off of the skateboard.
Got to get you a
Bad idea.
Got to get you a Segway.
Only pussies bail, Alicia.
I was
I don't-
practicing.
Bad things happen when you bail. I smashed my elbow up, and I still like my tricep
that's-
never reattached from bailing on a longboard.
But that's the thing is I was practicing bailing so that I would do it right.
Get
Like,
one of
so
those
and
hoverboard
I
go
broke my
karts.
foot fucking with it.
That's all of my facial scars is fucking scorpioning.
Get one of those hoverboard go karts. The ones with the handle, the handles that you push to like go forward.
You're talking about a Segway again.
No, it's just it's those fucking hoverboards that they just bolted a seat onto. Put wheels where you put your feet, and then you fucking use hand.
I think
A bicycle?
I think Segway makes
No,
one of those, like a good one.
no.
And
Oh,
look,
yeah,
I know
yeah, they
I know
make it fun.
Segways, like it's so easy to make fun of Segways, but like when I lived down by Annapolis, they do like Segway tours of like Old Town Annapolis, Maryland. You know, old ass city. And it looks like I always wanted to take one. I always wanted to take
Here,
one. They
look.
look like they would be fun. They look like they'd be fun.
Look, this is what I'm gonna share this for. I'm gonna share this for the show too. Okay, but this is what I'm talking about. Ooh. Share for you guys. Boom. This. See, it's a hoverboard, right? That you put a seat onto.
A lot like a Segway.
How the fuck does that look like a Segway? What the fuck is wrong with you, Jared? What kind of dumbass Segways have you been seeing?
So
It's a
basically,
Segway that has
you're
two
adding
legs
a
and a platform, and it's the same fucking platform.
That's
So
how.
it's a
I get it.
attached to it.
You
Okay.
sit
I get
down
it.
on
You
that.
just kinda-
Yeah, you
know,
sit down
you're-
on this. How is this a Segway, Jerry?
It's literally okay. Underneath the place you sit down, it's literally the exact same.
It's literally not a Segway though. It's literally
It's a hoverboard.
Well, yeah, with the exception
With wheels.
of
No, it even under highlights easily attaches to your hoverboard and converts it into an electric go-kart.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Jerry. Essentially, a Honda Civic is a Ford F-150 because without the engine and the motor and the doors, it's a frame.
I keep trying to scroll down on his screen.
I know.
Yeah. Oh, let's take a look. Now you can turn your hoverboard into a racing go-kart with the Jetson
So
Jet
it's
Kart
just the
universal
platform.
hoverboard
That's what you're
attachment.
saying.
I mean, you still got to buy.
Honestly,
You
this
still got to buy
hoverboard-
the hoverboard.
Well, no,
though.
you
That's-
can
Didn't all the
see. No,
hoverboards
you
get
can
recalled, though?
buy ones. You can buy ones that come with the
No,
hoverboard.
see, this is where my problem is,
Okay.
where it's like the hoverboard that has massive fucking wheels.
Play the
That
video.
never is
Play the
never-
video.
Oh, let's play this fucking video. Let's play it up.
This fucking magical hoverboard that
Jet
has.
cart.
Oh shit! You guys can't hear the sick music. Hold on. I gotta change the.
How
I
is
gotta.
this hovering?
Dude,
Could have just muted
who
it.
cares? Okay, there we go. There you go. Now you guys can hear the sick music. Look at him go! Look at him cruising. What the fuck did I just do? God damn it.
This is a sit down segment.
Dude, you're a sit-down Segway. Oh shit, it can teach you how to do backflips.
That looks way dorkier than a Segway.
Absolutely.
I would rather stand up on a Segway.
What kind of
than ride
grown-ass man is gonna sit down on a fucking go-kart like that?
I watched a woman learning how to use one of those hoverboards the other day. She's like going down a busy ass road in the middle of the road at maybe a mile an hour, like just creeping along, like. And then eventually she fell off of it while it was barely moving. I was like, "What is wrong with?" And she picked it up and then walked to the sidewalk and started going again, and then gave up on the sidewalk, went right back into the street, blocking traffic. I was like, "What are you doing? Like you're going so slow."
Some
Just get
people
up
just
and
don't
walk.
care. Some people just are so oblivious they just don't care.
Like I was walking faster.
I
than
wish I was one of those people. Like I wish I wasn't as socially conscious as I am. I wish
Just a
I
little
was one of those people-
sociopathic streak. Like, fuck it, I'm
Yeah,
riding
I
on my
wish I-
hoverboard.
I wish the crushing anxiety wasn't there to just allow me to not give a fuck.
Just a little less self-aware.
Yeah, about any kind of social contract.
Just start thinking of everyone as an NPC and you'll be okay.
No,
That's worked well for so many people.
that's how we ended up where we are now.
All right, 4chan.
All right, I'm bailing.
Yep, that's the show.
Gotta share this link.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to think about
That's a
how
great
much
show.
shit you've eaten this week.
Yeah, it's always good to see you fresh.
Yeah,
It was
man.
great seeing you, man.
Thank
The
you,
rest
Fresh,
of you,
for
rest of
coming
y'all
on,
fuckers, I'll see you next week.
man.
Yeah.
We will see you
Later.
guys next week. Let me get this outro music going. Media library. All right, we'll see you guys next week. I forgot to turn off my fucking display capture.
See, I totally like to claim because like my elbow, like kind of everything reattached. Like obviously it still works, but like I have like no tricep strength here, and like I like to blame that for so many things. And really, I'm just like a gelatinous tube.